What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Alphaville. And we're going back to the second disc for the deluxe edition of their Afternoons in Utopia album, 1986. And we're going to listen to the second installment of apparently a multi-phase journey from their non-album tracks, which is to say, we listened already to the Nelson Highrise, and I'm trying to remember what the sector. So it was the Nelson Highrise Sector 1. That was the elevator. I like that track a lot. I've re-listened to it a number of times since doing that reaction. And it has this sort of serious groove to it. It has a nice energetic and serious sound. Well, this is the Nelson Highrise Sector 2, The Mirror. And there's a third one also included on the second disc for Afternoons in Utopia here, the deluxe edition. And that is The Garage. So I'm not sure, but we're getting multiple aspects of some Nelson Highrise. So yeah, it's interesting. When I reacted to that first track, I don't remember if people commented that there were multiple. I'm sure they did, but in the moment I didn't remember that. So then when I saw both sectors 2 and 3 on this disc, I was like, oh, okay, so there's more to this story that was started as one of the bonus tracks on the Forever Young album. So bottom line, curious to hear whether there's any connection to the first one sonically and or the third one, which we'll do in a different video. But yeah, ultimately, you know, an elevator, it gives you a sense of mobility, it gives you a sense of access. A mirror is reflective, right? It shows you what is already there, but which, because of your perspective, you can't normally see. So again, maybe conceptually there will be something there, but I'm just wondering how direct of a connection to the first one and or the third sector in this Nelson Highrise there will be. So let's find out. This is Alphaville, the Nelson Highrise Sector 2, and this one is called The Mirror.
This is the national anthem from the flip side of the empire. Hand on my heart on the sleeve of the Constitution. Sinking right into a mirror, leaving reflections on its surface. Caught in a kind of radio beacon that's sending out signals, transmitting them backwards. Hey, tell me it's true. Is this the other side of you? What's gonna change with the move in your face? You must walk on the same structure. Hey, what do we know? Releasing arrows of a cosmic matter. Nothing is real, even I know. Still nothing gently on the cold structure. Watching your face through a peephole as I lean against the door. Can't understand what you're saying, but I think that it's all in my brain. Leaving the one silence is like leaving the one they want me to be.
I like the way you did that vocally.
Decisions and real-time decisions, there's millions of sailors out of the world. Hey, tell me it's everybody walks side of the runway, everybody hopes to get over the track. What we all like is smooth motion, waiting for the airline to descend. Everybody walks side of the runway, everybody hopes to get over the track. What we all like is smooth motion, waiting for the airline to lift us up.
Crazy. I never heard them do anything like that vocal part before. This is brilliant. like, given the way that the previous two, like, choruses ended with that moment, and then there was a lead-in to the next part, I figured it might end like that. It's interesting, though, like, he's talking about reflections and, like, I think cosmic metals, like, on the surface of a mirror, but I'm not sure exactly, like, it sounds like he's talking to you, to someone specifically, but obviously that could itself be metaphorical or conceptual, so overall, thematically, I'm not sure what's happening, though I do think there is a reference to, you know, reflections and the actual surface and structure, maybe even of a mirror. Nevertheless, a really cool tune that it unfolded in different parts. The way it started, it was like, it was atmospheric, but I was thinking, okay, it's different from the first tune, but eventually it did kick in and it had some of that, you know, syncopated, percussive energy of the first sector, but definitely a different track. And yeah, ultimately there was a moment where right before that almost like rap part, if you will, I was thinking, man, it reminds me of like early to mid 80s Depeche Mode. It kind of has that industrial kinetic feel, but it's still electronic and groovy. And then right as I was thinking that, that rap part came in, and that sort of, you know, exploded the notion that I was thinking it sounded like early to mid 80s Depeche. And it, even, you know, when thinking about the album now, I guess 2 albums and some bonus tunes that I've gone through from Alphaville, I don't think I've ever heard them do that kind of delivery before, so that was cool. It reminded me kind of like a UK hip-hop a little bit, in the way it was like that rapid-fire delivery over a slower beat. So yeah, it's interesting, because then it kind of went back into like an instrumental section that was like really well crafted, I thought. And then when the vocals came back again, it was like more the like standard part of the song, so that was an interesting like vocal flourish. I wasn't expecting that. I did enjoy it. So yeah, the next reaction we do, we'll come back for Sector 3, which, just make sure, just to confirm, I think it's the garage. Let me check. Yes, so the garage, indeed. So yeah, and I think that's, at least on this like bonus disc for the Afternoons in Utopia album, it's the last one. So who knows, maybe there's more after that. But we do have one more on here. And then it looks like past that, it looks like there might only be remixes and, you know, club mixes and so on of tracks that we've already heard. So if that is the case, I may move on to the next album proper. Now, don't get me wrong, eventually we'll come back and we'll go through all the different mixes. But, you know, as I've been doing with some other bands, I'll start going through like 1 or 2 remixes and people will be like, these are cool, but, you know, I really encourage you to go on to the next album. So we'll do that. But again, at some point we will circle back and go through everything. But yeah, next Alphaville reaction will be the Nelson Highrise Sector 3, The Garage. So curious to hear again what connections or distinctions will be relative to the first 2 tracks. Again, I felt like there was some sonic connection, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like a different version of the same tune. It was definitely like its own tune, but it does seem to bear some similarities to the first one. So yeah, let me know if I'm missing some connection that I didn't pick up on. And yeah, looking forward to the next one. Let me know what you think. Peace.